Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It just, King, like I say, man, King for me just opened up that door of communication because it was a couple people not King side where I beat myself up about it before I apologized to myself, and it's because some of them I don't have contact with, but it was a few people that I dealt with that I did not tell about my diagnosis. I just made sure that I was being as safe as I possibly could at the time when we were intimate, and then way after the fact, I beat myself up about it. Like, why didn't I tell him? What was so drastic? Was having sex that fucking important that I could have potentially put somebody else at risk to go through the same mental hula hoops that I went through? No, it wasn't. And like I said, it got to a point to where I had to accept what I did and apologize to myself and move on from it. And that was a part of my healing process after my breakdown as well, was that I can't go back and change it. It's what's done is done. And if I keep beating myself up about it, then I'll never heal and I'll never be able to move on.
Yeah. And I have a really close friend who's not one to be an advocate with his diagnosis, but he kind of just tries to live his life anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have to encourage him to remind himself that he is still human. I think sometimes we have seasons where people are rude and cruel to us and our experiences, and the effects that has on us. It can cause a spiral very quickly because we're already having to be stronger than usual.
Yes.
And more guarded than usual even. And yeah, I definitely try on purpose to show my compassion and care, because I know what you're feeling because of having to deal with other types of scenarios like this. And so it's not the end of the world when a couple of people tell you that they're not interested because they feel some type of way about you. And but in the moment, it sure does seem that way, because if you have a losing streak, you just feel like it's not going to end, right?
Right. There was I kind of want, in this moment as it's coming to me, I kind of want you to pass this along to your friends. So there's this one of the things that I put in my document is something that I saw somebody say on Reddit, and what they said was, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting HSV, they're rejecting the herpes. And once I that was one of the things that I ingrained in myself. Was, okay, you're right. I'm a great person according to people. Heck, I'm not tooting my horn, but people will tell you I'm a great person and all of this kind of stuff. But I mean, if I go on a date and I want to get intimate and somebody rejects me because of the rash, it's not me that they're rejecting, it's that. Because if I didn't have that, then it'd be a go. So, is people don't reject you, people may reject your circumstances sometimes, albeit your fault or not. And like, man, I remember when I told you,
or just even the risk that your circumstance presents.
Yeah, no, I read a post. This guy made a post on Reddit the other day saying that he dated this. He's married now. He's currently married with herpes, and his wife knew that before they got married. She requires him now to wear a condom and wear boxers when they have sex because she doesn't want to catch it. And there was so many people in the comments on that post and were just like, that's unfair to you because she knew the risk beforehand. Why is it now all of a sudden that she wants to go through all this extra added protection. But just imagine how I'm not this man, and I'm flabbergasted and upset at his situation. Like, she married you when you had it, but now you got to go through all this extra added protection. You can't even have unprotected sex with your wife, and they've been married for years because she doesn't want to catch something that she know that you had already, which is bananas.
But you still get how you still see her perspective on it, right?
I see her side. I still see her side, but the shit don't. You knew that before you said I do.
It's complicated, ain't it?
Before you said I do, though, you knew that. You knew the risk. It's after the fact.
But I'm sure at the end of the day, maybe he's willing to proceed in such preventative measures because he wants to ensure her safety. One, and two, really love her. Right?
That's what he was saying. Now, what happens after that post? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. But and which goes to tell you that, you know, everybody's reality is one of a kind.
Yes.
Goose is not always good for the gander. You know,
exactly.
you might want to, like, I guess I had this discussion. You know, I had a positive friend ask me if I would be willing to date someone who was positive, and I said yes. And they was like, well, how long do you think you would go before y'all started having unprotected? And I was like, well, I don't know. And then, you know, he tried to like lightly scold me a little bit because he was like, well, you know, but, you know, undetectable means untransmittable. And then it's like, well, yeah, but sometimes, you know, there's science, and then sometimes stuff just happens. And, you know, sometimes you just want to take that extra little measure because of how stuff happens. So that it's, but I mean, you know, the fact that you're willing to bring it up is a thing in itself, because you have some people who are the exact opposite, because it was inflicted on them. You know, they feel that, you know, as justice, that it is their duty to provide the spread to others.
Right. Yep.
It's very selfish, but then, you know, they're hurt, but it comes from a lack of communication from before. And so, you know, I think communication is important in any scenario, whether, you know, you're in a kink thing or you're not. Right. And it's a regular little thing. It's, but, you know, we always mask ourselves to present ourselves in the best way in any type of scenario, because what we're trying to do, score. And you have to paint the best picture to score. And, you know, sometimes in putting yourself out there like that, you know, you put yourself in the position of not scoring. And not because of you, but because of a handicap. Yep. Be like,
yeah, man. Yeah. Tony, where you at? Oh, that boy disappeared out here.
I think I'm. Yeah, because I want to. There's so much more nuance to it, and, you know, I want to hear a married man's perspective on like that, because
the speak.
I was just trying to order some food. I was literally just trying to order some food. That's it.
Yo, fat ass. Anyway, but I mean, like, have you have you found like, are you, I gotta, screw it. Do you find, dang, I'm trying to be, I want to be respectful.
Just say it.
But
Just say it. Just say it.
Hey, you gotta say that shit.
I do. Like, how would you consider your curiosities now that you're married? You know, there were things that you may have been willing to try when you was, you know, like an unclaimed man. Do you still see yourself as having that type of creative energy intimately in your marriage, or
Like with my wife or with other people?
Well, yeah, with main squeeze, you know, like I'm not trying to dig or anything. I just think that sometimes rings cause people to shut down on things that they were willing to do when they were single.
Well, I would say it's less rings and it's more just responsibility that makes you like, as far as like being adventurous, like, no, I don't really feel the need to be too adventurous, because honestly, with our day to day, bro, like we literally, like, we go to sleep. When we go to sleep, we think, did you feed the dog? Did you lock the door? Did you mop the floor?
Priority.
Right? Like, so that's like what we do, you know, and then I don't know, like the priorities shift when you're like really like in tune and locked in that. But like, I guess personally, I mean, I'll say this because my wife knows about this, but I have developed some fetishes that I have gone to OnlyFans about, because when you're married, like you really are thinking, like my wife's not thinking about certain things, like, and she's cool with me going to OnlyFans about those. Like, she knows all about that. It comes right through on a motherfucking on the bank account.
That's
love to hear it. I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
You don't lose your freak. You don't lose your freak because you get married. But like there are things
that was what I was trying to be all decorum with the crap. That was what I was getting. Absolutely. Thank you,
like,
Tony.
my wife is a very like understanding person. Like, we have our sex life, but like our sex life does like kind of include a lot of other shit. Like, we are not necessarily thinking about ripping each other's clothes off because we have a daughter and we have so many responsibilities that we have to deal with. Doesn't mean that we take away from each other sexually, but like, if I need to go get mine on this OnlyFans account, it's $7.99. She's not tripping.
A lot of people cannot handle that.
Yep.
But communication allows for it.
Yeah, we different.
Because you hear a lot of times in monogamous relationships that your spouse should be your everything. And if you gotta sneak or go into, in your case, go to an OnlyFans, then she not doing something.
But that would mean that we have a monogamous relationship.
Listen,
I'm just saying there was assumptions made in that comment. There was no questions asked. I
didn't make none. But no, so what I was my thing was, it was that still monogamous or not, I appreciate the fact that you have that openness in your relationship,
right?
Where you can go and be like, I'm going to pay for this video or whatever it is to get to get what it is that I'm not getting from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the fact that it just so happens to be whatever it is, because OnlyFans, for anybody watching, OnlyFans is not just for sex. Okay. All right. Let's throw that out there. But the fact that you have that.
Oh my God, I don't believe you, Wes. Oh my goodness.
This is just, I mean, the fact that you have that openness from the communication and availability to do that in your marriage,
Yeah,
impresses me and makes me happy. Because again, a lot of people don't have that.
well,
They
see, because
don't.
I would like to get into this conversation,
You gotta
but we'll see where this comes.
if you have it. Yeah.
Because I don't know, like in I'm just gonna be I'm trying to be cautious of what I say about my relationship, because I don't want everybody to know all the details. But you know, there is a world where your partner can have uncontrollable love for you, but still some needs that they got to meet outside of you, and it not be no other thing. So what I want to get into that is, like I said something about earlier this week about how would you feel if your man came to you and said, look, I want to pay for a prostitute, or I just want to pay some woman to have sex with me, or I want to pay a bill, whatever it is. Like, what do y'all think about that? Is that like, if you had if your homeboy came to you and said that, would you look down on him?
No. Now, where I am in life now, no. You would have asked me that 2.5 years ago, yes.
Nigga, you
now,
tricking.
no. Right.
Bro, I've come a long way from the greenness that I began my sexual experiences as, man. Whew. Yeah, no judgment over here, dog. Yeah, as long as
I get it. Like I understand that now. Like the core Christian values, that upbringing coming from your parents and your grandparents, and that they say that something's wrong with that scenario. That you have to go and pay for something that, bro, what you paying for? You got a whole wife at home. Fuck around with your wife. Gee, if that was my wife, that
because,
ignorant.
bro, you get what you pay for, and if you want it, you get it. Duh.
Right. So it's just, you know what I mean? See, for me, I don't have a problem in that scenario. Where I am right now in life, that shit makes sense for me. It naturally makes sense.
And I think
if I want a hamburger and I ain't got no hamburgers at the house,
you gonna go
what
buy
the fuck
one.
I'm supposed to do? I'm gonna get a fucking burger.
Look, I swear to God, there was a time in my life where when my baby was just born, I didn't have a sex drive no more. Like I lost my sex drive. And my wife said to me straight up, she said, do you need me to go like get you a prostitute so you can get your mojo back? And I'm like, what? I was so shocked. But she was dead ass serious. She was like, dog, you not trying to fuck. And you like, I know you just need your mojo back. Like what people not understanding, right. Is like, you actually saving a lot of bullshit. Because first off, the kind of man I am, I'll go find me a little 27-year-old. I'll game her up and have her fucking me 3 ways from Sunday. But I'm not trying to do that, because then all of a sudden now you got all kind of extra bullshit that comes with that. Now you got feelings involved. But if you go to somebody like, look, let me break you off with a little bit of change. Whoop, wham, bam.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yep. This is what it is.
Expectations gone, communications. This is what it is. Point blank and period.
Yep.
Exactly. And I know, and people could say whatever they want to say about that, but it's like, what person is not doing that? Like there are women, like they said something, there's like 25% more women are cheating on their husbands now than ever. But guess what? Maybe you could cause a lot less drama if you just have an arranged situation. If I know somebody that needs some bills paid, and you can go dump off a couple of dollars, and then boom, and everything's respectful, everybody's legitimate. What's wrong with that?
Right.
The fear that opportunity could turn into an attachment or an entanglement.
See, but so it's either that or you're doing it on the low. Either that or you're doing it on the low. Either way, somebody fucking.
Yeah. I just told my neighbor this the other day. She was like, her dude that she broke up with took a little trip out of town for work. So she was like, I get to go here with the side piece. I said, bro, if you was being open with everybody, you could have your cake and another cake right now.
Yeah.
Instead of a cake, and you got to put that cake up to go get the other cake. You could have both of the cakes.
Yep.
But really, now you got to do it in a
territorial though. You know,
really,
now it feels like sneaking.
Really might be cool with it. Everybody in a scenario might be cool with the whole thing. Like but the point is, you don't know. Like, you ain't gave that person the opportunity to say, I'm with this or I'm not with this.
Yep.
So because you give me the opportunity, now that I found out of the blue, now I can't trust you. I probably still wasn't cool with it, but you didn't give me the chance to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard stories recently of women being in open relationships with dudes and giving dudes the permission to, go and do their thing, but the dudes still feel the need to be sneaky about it because, we're not used to that. We're not used to that type of freedom all the time,
right?
Which causes problems, which would always bring us right back to communication.
Because sometimes, bro,
almost everything is negotiable.
Yeah.
Almost everything is negotiable.
And we've known because we've lived through our ancestors. We know that, like, sometimes just because a motherfucker need to get a little bit of peace on side, like sometimes a motherfucker just need a date. Like, imagine just being in a situation where a woman is like, I just want to go on a date with somebody else. I don't even want to fuck them. I just want to go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
I can name a lot of dudes that'll be like, okay, cool. Right? It don't always have to be a bunch of ego and pride.
Cool. Go do your little date thing. Cause you know what crazy too is the minute that you see, cause I know for sure I did this, man. One of my exes was getting dressed up to go out with her homegirls one day, and I damn near kept her inside. Like, oh shit, you ain't it. Fuck, nigga. You
wearing that?
You sure you won't go out right now? Cause we can go out on the couch. You know what I mean? You sure you trying to leave? Cause
man, basically everything is different now. Everything is different, and it's cool for shit to be different. And you know what? Sometimes your bond can be strengthened by that honesty.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
But beauties and gents, we are gonna wrap up this episode, episode 11, Rise of the Kings podcast. I want to thank my boy Wes Bees for coming through and blessing us with all this beautiful knowledge. I want to thank TJ for rocking in. It's your boy Tony Wilson. Come on.
You did.